All right, good evening, everybody. This is meteorologist Elijah Kirby with Shelbyville Weather, and we are live due to a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued here for western Moore County. All right, so western Moore County and northern Lincoln County. So I decided to go ahead and get up and running here before this storm got into Moore County, and the warning has already come out here. So I'm taking a look at the chat rooms here, making sure that I'm all good. I'm going to have to switch between Huntsville and Nashville's chat rooms, so you'll just have to stick with me here. But this is what we're watching here. And again, the streaming situation, I'm sorry if I cut in and out sometimes with the audio and stuff. We're, just doing with the best we got here with internet. So this is the worst part of the storm here circled, and there is some rotation within this storm, and Huntsville actually has this listed with a severe thunderstorm warning tornado possible tag on it. So you can kind of see here the hook signature that we like to see with classic supercell thunderstorms. This is not what I would consider a classic supercell thunderstorm, but you still have that hooking feature, and you have the warm, moist air coming into the inflow of the storm. And then on the south side of Cornersville, you have the rain-cooled air wrapping back around. And right in here would be where your, circulation is. And if we look on the velocity data here, you can see it's a little messy. But we do have those reds and greens, with the reds blowing away from the radar and the greens blowing towards the radar. All right, so that's what we're seeing here with this particular storm, and you can see it got a little bit better defined there with that newest scan. But again, you have some of that rotation here with the greens and the reds. It's an anti-cyclonic rotation, or excuse me, cyclonic rotation, counterclockwise rotation, and that's where the circulation is. So that's just something to keep in mind here for Moore County folks. And this warning doesn't even include Lynchburg. It's really along and west of State Route 50/55. So we're talking Chestnut Ridge and Boonesville Highway, State Route 129, places like that along and west of Lynchburg proper. Okay, for this particular storm. And I expect the worst of this storm to stay south of Bedford County. Now, in addition to this severe thunderstorm warning we have for western Moore County, we also do have this thunderstorm here over northwestern Bedford County. So this is going to be near Rover and Unionville, up along near Eagleville, 41A, the northern part of the county here. And we do have some cloud-to-ground lightning, and again, just some heavy rainfall here, and maybe some gusty winds. I've seen some reports we might have had actually a brief tornado touchdown not long ago in the Spring Hill area, based off some of the reports I've seen in the chat room anyway. So, and there is a little bit of rotation with this particular cell, but the Weather Service has not mentioned putting out a warning here for this particular storm in northwestern Bedford County. So our main concern here is going to be this storm moving through extreme southern Marshall County and into northern Lincoln and western Moore County. There's these storms with, I guess we could call this round two. These storms are scattered about, so we're going to have one storm up here, and they're moving off towards the southeast. We'll have one storm kind of skirt across northern Bedford County and slowly sink down a little bit further south into Coffee County. And then we'll have this other storm, the stronger storm, to the south here over southern Marshall County, which is why we're live for the severe thunderstorm warning in Moore County. And that one is going to, stay to the south and really only be a Moore County problem, okay? So right now, at least for the time being, it looks like Shelbyville proper may not get any rainfall. Maybe a little bit of light rain, but I'm not expecting very much, major stormage for Shelbyville proper out of this, and I think that goes for a good bit of Bedford County. Honestly, these storms are scattered about, so we're just kind of rolling with the punches here, and it looks like it's going to split, a pretty good bit of Bedford and Coffee over the next little bit. But we still have to watch these two storms because, some of our communities in all three counties are going to get, a pretty stout storm over the next couple minutes here. So Lewisburg is okay. Yes, this severe warned storm is staying south of Lewisburg. I'm going to go back to the Huntsville radar site since it's closer. Still some pretty good cloud-to-ground lightning occurring with this storm. Doesn't look quite as organized on reflectivity. And then here on velocity, still a little bit of rotation. So you have the reds going away from the radar and the greens blowing towards the radar site. And right here would be where the potential circulation is. Okay, so again, just something that we're watching here for right now, western Moore County. And if this storm continues as it moves off towards the east at its current strength, this could impact more of Moore County, I guess you could say, and then also Franklin County later on down the line. So that's something to keep in mind there for folks a little bit further off to the east that aren't included in the warning right now. Yeah, so there's some lightning going on in with these two storms. You can see the lightning in the distance. Probably can't hear much thunder, even though there's a few people saying they can hear the thunder from even pretty good piece out. So one thing that I do want to mention, I haven't made a post about this yet, but heat lightning is not real. Okay, lightning is very hot, yes, but heat lightning is not caused by heat. So when you see lightning in the summertime way off in the distance, that's just lightning from a distant thunderstorm that you can't see. So just a fun tidbit there. I usually make a funny post about that every once in a while, but I haven't got a chance to this summer yet. So if you're seeing the lightning from these storms, there's actual storms. It's not heat lightning, okay? Lightning is hot, yes, but it's not heat lightning. No, there's no reason to be concerned in Flat Creek proper. On the Lynchburg side of Flat Creek, Moore County side of Flat Creek, I would, keep a close eye on this storm. But if you're on the Bedford County side of Flat Creek, you're probably just going to get some heavy rainfall out of this particular storm. So, and I'm going to go through my spill again here. So we really have two storms that are kind of, straddling across both counties. So I drew a line here at the bottom to indicate the track of the southernmost storm here as it continues to move south and east, and then the northern track here, and that leaves a good portion of both Bedford and Coffee without seeing very much rainfall at all. And there could be some pockets of stormage that forms there in they're in between. But I'm thinking that for the most part, these two storms are going to be what we're mainly talking about over the next few minutes here. So this severe thunderstorm warning that Huntsville has put out for western Moore County, which is why we're live, expires in 27 minutes. Okay, so the main area of concern is, again, going to be this area of broad rotation, mid-level rotation here. And it's about to move into northern Lincoln County out of southern Marshall County, southern Marshall County. So tomorrow I will have an update about the storms tomorrow later on. Right now I'm worried about these storms here. Can't really make a post right this moment, but and maybe we can go over that once we get done with these storms. I'll just, maybe throw up some data for y'all on the screen here. But it does look like we are going to get some storms tomorrow. particularly in the afternoon and evening hours. I've looked through a little bit of data, but mostly I've been watching, the radar with the stuff going on today. So if y'all want to stick with me here through this, severe thunderstorm warning, I might throw up some data if I can get OBS set up right to be able to do that for y'all, and we can look at, look at some of the latest forecast data for tomorrow, and then I'll make a post. And then I'll also have the forecast out on WLIJ and WZNG for tomorrow, and it'll play from I think 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. So I'll have that out as well overnight tonight. So very very busy evening for me, but so we're watching this storm closely here, southeast of Cornersville, and this warning polygon here clips northwestern portions of Moore County, especially along and west of State Route 55 and State Route 50. Okay, so there is some moderate to heavy rainfall already pushing through the warning polygon, especially in northwestern Moore County. But this is not, the part of the storm that I'm concerned about. It's still right out here towards the west. I'm not even going to pronounce that name because y'all are going to make fun of me. So, just southwest of or southeast of Cornersville here is, the portion of the storm that I'm most concerned about. And it probably won't get to Moore County, until after this warning expires, and we'll see if they put out a new one here. So this warning remains in effect for another 24 minutes here, and I brought that up so I could look and see what the movement was. It looks like it's east at 25 miles per hour. So we're going to bring this out from the worst part of the storm here and kind of bring it down at a slight southeasterly angle, just because it is moving a little bit more south of due east, and this would bring it into Belleville in about 25 minutes, Mimosa 32 minutes, Boonville in 37 minutes, Mulberry in 40 minutes, and Locks Mill in 41 minutes. Okay. The total population is not zero either. I'm not sure why it's saying that. It's fairly close to zero, but it's not quite zero. So we're keeping a close eye on this storm over the next little bit, especially across western Moore County. So let's go back up here to this storm in northwestern Bedford and just check in. Got some heavy rainfall occurring from Rover over to Unionville, Longview, Midland, Taylor Crossroads, Cedar Grove, over towards Decent. Eventually we'll get in on some of the heavier rain within this storm cell, but it's not severe. Okay, just a normal summertime thunderstorm here. Nothing to be concerned about in the weather department with this particular storm cell, at least for right now. So keeping a close eye on it just to make sure, but that northern cell there just doesn't look very impressive to me. And we'll even go over here from the Nashville radar and take a look at it just to see. And there is just a slight little bit, I shouldn't even be mentioning it, it's so minuscule, but there is a little bit of mid-level rotation over Rover, and maybe some stronger wind gusts, definitely some heavy rainfall there in Rover right now, but nothing that just screams severe in my opinion. So yes, it does look like Tullahoma is going to be in between both of these storms. So, yeah, there's pretty heavy rainfall in Rover right now, and this is round number 2 here. This is why the time frame that I mentioned this morning was so wide, because we had the storms earlier, and now we have the storms coming through now. So that 1 to 10 p.m. time frame I was mentioning earlier this morning. Looks like it verified pretty nicely, with how widespread these storms have been in terms of timing. Yes, Mimosa at 10:10. Yes, we'll go to Fudge Around and have a mimosa. That sounds like a plan. So we are watching a developing cell, or I'm watching, I guess, a developing cell here. Might bring some heavy rainfall to basically in between these two storms that are ongoing right now, but it's going to be really hard to get anything severe in that department. So yes, Bell Buckle's fine. Shelbyville, there's really nothing to worry about. Not at this moment anyway. The only reason I'm live here is for this western Moore County severe thunderstorm warning, and there is a little bit of weak mid-level rotation within this storm. As you can see here, coming just north of Delina in extreme southern Marshall County, I believe the railroad comes right down through here, something kind of like this. But you do have the reds and the greens here, with the reds going away from the radar and the greens blowing towards the radar, and this would be where the rotation is. But again, there's no tornado warning right now, just a standard severe thunderstorm warning for damaging wind gust up to 60 miles per hour and the potential for some large hail as well. But of course, we are watching the rotation just to make sure it doesn't act up, because I believe we may have had a brief touchdown, or at least downburst, something, some kind of wind event in Spring Hill just about 45 minutes ago. So some of these storms have been throwing tantrums, and it's important to keep that in mind. Something to definitely keep in mind. Tullahoma is fine for the time being. It looks like that the main two storms, the severe one down here, is going to go to the south of Tullahoma, and then there is also a storm to the north here in northern Bedford County between Rover and Deason, and this one will go north of Tullahoma. So really the only thing, you're probably going to get a little bit of this residual light to moderate rainfall on the north side of the strongest cell, but nothing overly concerning at this point in time for Tullahoma or Shelbyville, either one. So the rain has arrived at Pepper Hill Road. Thank you, Debbie. Yes, Highway 129 and a 231 connection is really where this severe thunderstorm is going to impact first here in Moore County. And I'll zoom down in here. Just okay, a tornado warning has just come out here for northern Moore County. So tornado warning is now in effect here for northwestern Moore County. So this would be Chestnut Ridge. So right along State Route 129 here, coming out of Lynchburg, and then they connect with 231 here just on the Lincoln and Moore County line. That's where this rotation is going to hit first. This tornado warning does not include Lynchburg. Does not include Lynchburg, okay? This tornado warning is really for folks along State Route 129 between Boonville and Chestnut Ridge, okay? That's the main area of concern, and I'll zoom out just a little bit here so you can see the names maybe a little bit better. But we have Boonville, down here, and we have Chestnut Ridge right here along US 231, and then State Route 129 here comes from 231 down into downtown Lynchburg. So Lynchburg proper is not under a tornado warning at this particular moment. Okay, this is strictly for folks that live along State Route 129 between Boonville and Chestnut Ridge. So if you live along State Route 129 between Boonville and Chestnut Ridge, you need to be seeking your tornado safe place at this time. Okay, that is a center room of your home, or if you're at a church or a business, something like that. Center room. If you have a basement, that's the best place to be. Put as many walls between you and the outside to protect you. The more walls that you put between you and the outside, that's less likely of a chance that the tornado can reach you. So just to clarify here, I am running this stream from my laptop from home, so we're having a little bit of lag, and I apologize for that greatly. But I'm going to stay on top of this here over the next little bit. So let's go ahead and dig down here into the couplet with this tornado warning. So we have this, we have the reds blowing away from the radar and the greens blowing towards the radar site. And right here is where the possible tornado would be, between Blakeville and Bidwell, okay, in extreme northwestern Lincoln County, at this particular point at least. So if you are between Blakeville and Bidwell, that would be along the US 431 corridor in northwestern Lincoln County. You need to make sure that you are seeking your tornado safe place at this time. And this is moving off towards the east, right? So we'll go ahead and draw a track out with this storm off to the east at, let me see how fast this is moving first. It looks like it is moving at 20 miles per hour. Okay, so we'll. I can see the lightning out here from my window here in Normandy, and it's producing a lot of lightning. So Bidwell, 9 minutes. Belleville, 21 minutes. Mimosa, 30 minutes. Boonville, 36 minutes. Mulberry, 40 minutes. Locks Mill, 42 minutes, and Gaddistown in 50 minutes. Okay. So that's what we're looking at here with this tornadic circulation. And again, we have the reds blowing away from the radar and the greens blowing towards the radar site. And this is where you would have that tornadic rotation, is right here just to the north of Blakeville in extreme northwestern Lincoln County at this particular moment. Okay, so again, if you are in western Moore County, you need to be going ahead and seeking your tornado safe place just to be on the safe side. If you are along State Route 129, coming out of Lynchburg and up towards Chestnut Ridge, okay, that's where this tornadic circulation is warned for at, okay. And I'm going to go ahead and go to the correlation coefficient here and see if there is any debris being lofted. And the blue colors would show as, as the radar shoots up in the atmosphere, it, searches for objects that don't look like raindrops. And the objects that don't look like raindrops would show up in a dark blue color usually, while the raindrops show up in this brown color here. So you can see there's a lot of continuity within this storm when it comes to the objects within it with the correlation coefficient. So that means there's a lot of rain basically, and this could be some hail potentially, but I'm not seeing anything that co-locates with the the velocity couplet enough to call this a tornado on the ground at this point. So that's good news. Yes, the sirens will go off in downtown Lynchburg. The sirens will probably go off across all of Lincoln County as well. But I'm not expecting any, for a good majority of Lincoln County and a good majority of Moore County, this, tornadic circulation isn't going to impact you, but you may still be under the tornadic circulation or the tornado warning at some point, okay? So that's important to keep in mind. Lynchburg proper, downtown Lynchburg, is not in the tornado warning at this particular moment, okay? Ross is not under any warnings here. The good thing is that if I'm not mentioning your community at this point, that's a good thing, right? I've mentioned Lynchburg a few times. That means you need to be, putting your listening ears on, like we're back in grade school. Put our listening ears on if you're in Lynchburg, Chestnut Ridge, Boonville, and even going off towards a little bit to the east of Lynchburg as well. We need to have our listening ears on, right? But if I'm not mentioning your town or location, that's a good thing. So, Lynchburg, Chestnut Ridge, and Boonville, excuse me, which is technically in Lincoln County, but I know Boonville, the community, probably extends into Moore County by a little bit. So. Kelso is right outside of the tornado warning box, and at this moment, I would say you're okay in Kelso. Just stay tuned just to make sure here. But again, we do have the tornado warning that remains in effect here for another 39 minutes from the National Weather Service in Huntsville for western Moore County. This is going to be along State Route 129 between Chestnut Ridge and Lynchburg, okay? This is where the warning is in effect. If you are in, if you're around Motlow or if you're down in Herdlow in the southern part of the county, this warning does not include you at this time, okay? This is only for Chestnut Ridge to Lynchburg along State Route 129. That's the area that I'm most concerned with at this current moment with this storm, all right? Yes, if you are in Chestnut Ridge, just go ahead and seek shelter. That would be the right thing to do, just to be on the safe side here. And we still do have that rotation showing up. I'm going to circle it here. The red's blowing away from the radar and the green's blowing towards the radar. This is where the tornadic circulation that's warned for would be located. And this is about to come over the 431 corridor here between Fayetteville and Petersburg. All right. And this is moving generally off towards the east. So Belleville and Boonville, you're going to be up next here in northern Lincoln County. And eventually, later on down the line, we'll eventually get into northern Moore County. If you are in, Moore County along State Route 129, probably get some heavy rainfall, lightning, thunder, stuff like that. But, the worst part of this storm is just that little circulation. There's not even really much hail with it. Could have maybe some pea-sized hail with some of these purple pixels showing up here, but it's not overly impressive in that sense. And even the rotation has seemed to have fallen apart over the last few moments. If we go back just one or two scans here, this was at 940, 942, 943, 946, 948, 950, and 952. You can see the general progression of the circulation getting pretty stout, and then it just falls apart there. As it enters the 431 corridor, still in extreme western Lincoln County. So. And Huntsville is mentioning that as well with, the rotation is still present, but has weakened. So that's good news there from the meteorologist in charge, Todd Barron. So keeping a close eye on the chat room just to make sure I'm not missing anything there. And so elsewhere, again, I'm really concerned with this tornado warning here in western Moore County and northern Lincoln County, but I will quickly talk about the strong thunderstorm here, or I'm not even going to say strong thunderstorm. It's really just a normal summertime storm here over extreme southern Rutherford County, extreme northern Bedford County. And this is moving off towards the east, okay? So Beech Grove, I've seen some people in Beech Grove asking, are you still getting, are we going to get anything in Beech Grove, or the rain is picking up? So nothing to be concerned about in Beech Grove, nothing to be concerned about anywhere else but in Moore County at this particular moment. So it's really, really what I'm watching here right now. I am going to pull up the EMA camera at the courthouse annex, and they do have the camera pointed off towards the south, and you can see some of the lightning there from the Moore County tornado warned storm. This is US 231 on the south side of town, and going off in the distance there, that would be South Cannon, and 231 south off towards Fayetteville. So lots of lightning with this storm, a little bit of light rain falling there in Shelbyville, but clearly the worst storm here is going to be in southern in western Moore County and northern Lincoln County. So Huntsville says the rotation is tracking south of Petersburg towards the Belleville area on 231. So that's basically what I've been noticing too here, and it looks a lot worse. I think it's really falling apart here. The rotation seems to be falling apart very, very quickly. There's where the rotation would be located at, but it's it's falling apart very, very quickly. And that's what we're dealing with tonight, just pulse up and pulse down thunderstorms. So it'll throw a tantrum for 15, 20 minutes, and then it will, just give out. So I hope you like, the fart noise to go with that there. But really, that's what we're seeing. It just goes up and then comes down fairly quickly. So I'm keeping a close eye on the chat room, or on the chat on Facebook. So if you have a question about an area, a specific area, please let me know, and I'll try to answer your question here. So the rotation has not come past 129 and 231 yet, or at least where the area of rotation used to be. There's a lot of heavy rainfall occurring, but the actual rotation is like somewhere right in here. So I see you there, James, trying to get me worked up this evening, ain't you? I see you. I see you. Herdlow, you're not under a tornado warning at this time. This is strictly for Moore County folks along 129 there between Lynchburg and Chestnut Ridge. Okay. Let me pull up. So Ridgeville would, is in the path of the general storm, but you're not in the tornado warning right now, and I don't see them keeping this up and running much longer. The rotation is almost completely falling apart at this point. But still, keep your, tornado precautions just to be on the safe side here over the next few minutes. But Um, I'm not overly concerned at this point the with the rotation here in this storm. And so, just to give a brief overview for everyone, we have this. Hold on, let me make sure it's on my screen good. Okay, let me zoom out just a little bit here. And again, if you stick with me, I'm going to go over the data for tomorrow real quick. So after we get done with this, we'll go through the data of tomorrow's slight risk level 2 out of 5. And funny enough, this tornado warning is actually in a marginal risk. But anyway, so we have this storm here over extreme southern Rutherford County. It's going to move to my friends in Fudge Around and Beech Grove, over towards Lakewood Park over the next 20-25 minutes or so, moving off towards the south and east. And then there is some other activity here kind of filling in the areas that didn't get any rainfall from these two storms. So Shelbyville probably have a little thunderstorm coming through, nothing strong or severe at this point. And then, of course, we do have the tornado warned storm here for Moore County, and that's going to be shifting southeastward and eventually off towards Winchester. But as I've been mentioning, the storm is just, it just doesn't look good right now. So, I say stuff how I see it, and I'm not scared to call it how it is, and it definitely is. It just doesn't look good, okay? So Mulberry is in the tornado warning, Miss Kim, so just stick with me a little bit longer here. But, like I've been saying, it looks like it's crapping out on us here, which is good. We want it to weaken. So it did look fairly stout in a few scans, especially right at the Marshall County line as it came into Lincoln County. You can see the rotation there looks fairly good, but it's broadened out. So the Weather Service is going to cancel the current tornado warning, and they're going to go with a severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, severe thunderstorm warning here for Moore County. So just give me like 2 or 3 minutes here for if you're along State Route 129 here between Chestnut Ridge and Lynchburg, and we can get you out of your safe place, tornado safe place at least, and we'll just be dealing with a severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, Petersburg is good to go. Yeah, Petersburg is fine. Yeah, I'm saying the same thing as the news stations are more than likely, about this storm. The rotation has broadened out and weakened significantly, and just don't see anything worth talking about at this point. So the new severe thunderstorm warning has just come out. You can see the yellow box right here. It goes out really, really far. So it goes all the way to Cowan in Franklin County. So Franklin County, I think your tornado sirens go off for severe thunderstorm warnings. Not 100% sure about that, but you might get a little scare here with the tornado sirens for the severe thunderstorm warning, but it's not a tornado warning. All right, so just a normal severe thunderstorm warning. And now the new severe thunderstorm warning does include pretty much all of Moore County. So this is going to be from all the way down here near Liberty Hill, all the way up to Chestnut Ridge on one side, and then almost all the way up to Tullahoma here on the other. So Raysville, Pleasant Hill, Ridgeville, places like that in Moore County are now included in this new severe thunderstorm warning, including downtown Lynchburg. But the tornado warning is about to be canceled, and we'll just ride with this severe warning here over the next couple minutes. Yes, Haley, you can get out of your safe place in Chestnut Ridge. Yes, you're good to go. Tornado warning will be canceled here momentarily. don't. It says expires in 26 minutes, but just don't think they've wrote it out yet. Okay, the tornado warning is now officially gone. So if you're in Moore County, Lincoln County, you can get out of your tornado safe place. This is now just a standard severe thunderstorm warning for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, and there goes the polygon there. So the polygon has disappeared, and now we just have a normal severe thunderstorm warning here. Moderate to heavy rainfall moving into Lynchburg right now. I still think the heaviest wind is probably going to be around Belleville here in extreme northern Lincoln County, and this is moving towards Moore County, okay? So I'm going to time this out here. Let's see how quickly it's moving. Now they're saying 40 miles an hour, so we've gone from 25 to 40 in a very quick period. But anyway, we'll pull it out here with 40, or we'll pull it out with 40 miles per hour being the speed of the storm. And Belleville 3 minutes, Mimosa 8 minutes, Boonville 11 minutes, Mulberry 12 minutes, Lynchburg 20 minutes, Beach Hill 25 minutes, Lexi 27 minutes, Winchester Springs 35 minutes, Estill Springs 38 minutes. Winchester 41 minutes, and Deckard in 43 minutes. Okay, so that's some of the timings there with this new severe thunderstorm warning. And again, the tornado warning has been canceled. So the tornado warning has been canceled. So you can come out of your tornado safe place if you are in Moore County or Lincoln County and you were in your tornado safe place. This is just a run-of-the-mill, strong, maybe borderline severe thunderstorm at this point with little to no rotation that I can see. So I'm looking at some of the data before I show it to y'all just to make sure it looks good. I mean, to the data so far this evening has been fairly impressive with the setup for tomorrow, especially the HRRR. So just something I'm going to keep an eye on. Weather models have, especially short range models, seem to have a hard grasp on events these times of year, or this time of year, when it comes to storm complexes and clusters of storms, and we're dealing with this stuff every other day, it seems like. And the models just have a hard time dealing with the general placement, timing, and setup of these storm systems. Like this morning when I looked at the HRRR, it didn't have any storms pulling through here until 10 or 11 p.m. And then, of course, we had those strong storms come through earlier today, around 3 or 4, maybe 4 or so. So, you can't take anything, as 100% the gospel with these weather models, especially this time of year, but really never. But, and I'll explain what I'm seeing and everything like that here once we dig into the data over the next little bit. I do want to stay on this severe warning just a little bit longer, but if it looks like it's calming down, I'll probably just go straight over to looking at the weather models, just because I don't want to sit here and drag this out all night if it doesn't look good. So yes, if the only storm I'm worried about is in Moore County. So if you're in Coffee or Bedford, just some heavy rainfall, maybe some lightning, occasional lightning, but the worst storm here is just for Moore County. So there's nothing else to be concerned about. And after we get this out tonight, so we'll have one last storm here to get through, or one last little cluster, I don't know, school, whatever, conglomerate, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, of storms to get through here, and then we'll be completely done for the night, right? But I don't think anything else will be severe for the rest of the day. I don't see that happening. But let me go to the velocity data here just to make sure we're still doing okay, and I need to look at the chat room. Nothing new. Okay. And there is very broad rotation here, but nothing worth a tornado warning. Maybe some strong wind gust here, and this will be moving off towards the east. So, Lynchburg, I give it 20 minutes, and it'll be on your doorstep. And another thing to mention is that lightning has died down a pretty good bit with this storm, so it's not quite as impressive in that department either. Yeah, it's producing a lot of rain. Yeah, it's producing a lot of rain, but when it comes to being severe, I'm just not seeing the really strong wind signatures that I would like to see in a storm like this. Coming a flash flood on Lynchburg. Yes, it is. There's a lot of rain falling in this little old storm that could. And just as I say that, there's 3 new lightning strikes that pop up there, so it'd be my luck that happens. But it doesn't look overly impressive. I'm gonna try something here. Get this loaded up, and we'll see how this works. Now, I've tried to do this in the past, and this is really just to show y'all what I'm looking at. I'm not. You can't take any of these weather models as 100% gospel. This is basically like the future tracker that they would show on TV or something like that, just in a more weather savvy application. So, and I might be able to actually look at that stuff here. I didn't even think about that. Hold on just a second. I forgot that I might be able to look at that here. I don't know how. Okay. I'm just fiddling with this stuff real quick, trying to figure out how to surface fronts. We'll do 15-minute intervals for the lightning. I'm sorry, models. Okay. Let's see here. Let's try this out. So, yeah. We're trying something new here. I've never used a model output in Radar Omega before, so you'll have to excuse me if I'm a little, if I'm a little ignorant with how this works. But so you can kind of see at the very top, very, very top left hand or right hand corner, you can see the time as I'm shifting through this data. This is model data for tomorrow. Okay, this is model data for tomorrow. This is for Saturday, right? This is not a radar of right now. This is, what this particular model thinks is going to happen tomorrow. All right. So we're starting out at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. Okay. And this is Bedford and Coffee. Bedford Coffee and more. and we'll have it. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, but you can kind of see it there. The severe thunderstorm warning box is going to stay up on the screen. But we're going to go forward in time here, and you can see this is at noon, okay, 12 p.m. there on the top left of your screen. And as we get into 1 o'clock, you can see a line of complex of storms starting to push in from the west. Then we get closer to 2 o'clock, and then 3 o'clock, and 4 o'clock it's out of here. So the HRRR thinks this is going to be a very quick moving system. And I don't know if I can do soundings on here. So I'm going to have to skip showing you all that. But that is what the HRRR has for tomorrow. Okay, that was not what I wanted to do. I'm just trying to see if there's a way to do soundings, but there's not. So it shows a complex of storms pushing through in the mid to late afternoon, and it gets in and out of here fairly quickly. And then we have a few maybe spotty showers overnight on Saturday night into early Sunday morning, and we're clear, right? So that is the HRRR. Yeah, HRRR, 3 R's. That's why I call it the HRRR. Some people call it the HRRR model. But anyway, that's what this particular model is showing, right? For tomorrow, complex of storms. This will be damaging wind gusts up to 65 miles per hour, large hail. Tornado threat is fairly low, but like we've seen, I never said the tornado threat today was 0, right? And you can't say that it's ever 0. It's always fairly low, but it's never 0. So this is the NAM computer model. So this is another short range model. And this is for the evening data here, starting out at 9 p.m. tonight. And it shows pretty good depiction of what the radar looks like right now, because this is at 10 p.m. And it's actually pretty impressive how close it got that severe thunderstorm warning, or the severe thunderstorm that severe thunderstorm warned, because that's the current warning, the polygon in the yellow, and then you can see the storm right there at 10 o'clock. That's actually scarily impressive. I think that's just by chance, but anyway, it has stuff moving out of here by 1 or midnight or 1 a.m. I don't think any of this stuff is going to be severe, but anyway, let's go on through, and it has a complex of storms too, moving through in the mid to late afternoon hours. Not as impressive as the HRRR shows, but still one nonetheless. And then it actually has a boundary kind of lifting northward and just spitting out storms at us all evening on tomorrow evening, and even into the overnight hours. This is at 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, and it has even more storms coming through. So, I think that's a little overdone. I think the boundary, the frontal boundary that's, causing this mess we're having right now will shift further to the south on Sunday. And we should stay mostly dry after the complex moves through tomorrow. But, it's something to keep in mind there. So, what we can take away from these models is that, one, it looks like we're going to have a broken complex or at least some type of stormage tomorrow afternoon, mainly between probably 12 and 6 p.m. There is a slight chance of maybe some activity behind that complex, but I don't see the atmosphere recovering all that much after the main complex moves through. But damaging wind gusts will be the main threat, large hail, and the tornado threat, again, is very, very low, but never 0, right? So, we'll be keeping a close eye on this, and I'll have a post up. It's going to be super late, but that's just how, we're just rolling with the punches here with what Mother Nature has given us. So, this is one of the things that I look at. I have a lot of other stuff that I also look at, like probability stuff through the dynamic Ensemble, and NWS graphics. I like to get NWS's input on what their part of the forecast is saying. So, there's a lot of stuff that impacts a forecast that goes a lot more than just looking at one of these models and saying, "Oh, okay," because you will see if you watch these models, they will change hour to hour. It'll be something completely different tomorrow morning. I guarantee it. It won't be exactly the same as it's showing right now. So you have to keep that in mind when you're making a forecast. So yeah, that's what I'm watching here. There's a couple other models. We'll look at the GFS. This is a long range computer model, and it's not really good for looking at mesoscale convective systems like what we're going to be looking at. But if we zoom this out, this was an 18Z run, and it actually has a complex of storms well to our south tomorrow. And that's kind of what I was thinking was going to happen this morning. But as the day progressed, they just started, shifting a little bit further north with that complex. And now it looks like that it could end up impacting us. So my main takeaway tonight is that, one, this complex, the exact location of the complex has yet to be defined. It could set up along I-40, and points towards the Alabama state line, or it could form, go through well south of I-40, or well south of the Alabama state line into, Huntsville, Birmingham, and points south and west of there. So there's a high amount of uncertainty with this setup, as there always is this time of year with these setups. I mentioned it earlier, but these complexes and patterns that we're in with it's just not very much flow aloft, not a lot of steering, and the short range models just hate it. They don't know how to react a lot of times. They do a fairly good job with stout setups where we have strong flow aloft, a lot of wind energy, but that's just not what we deal with around here this time of year, and it shows because there's a lot of discrepancies within the model guidance. When we're looking at these complex and storm cluster type events. So I'm going to go back to the radar here. We've and hold on, what is this? I just want to look at this real quick. Precipitation totals. Okay, what does this look? Is there a? I don't know what I'm looking at. I'll have to play around with this tomorrow. But anyway, we're going to go back and look at this storm here. A lot of lightning going on with this severe thunderstorm warning. Heaviest rain is occurring south and west of Lynchburg, so along State Route 50 there, coming right up into Mulberry, especially between Mulberry and Lynchburg, downtown Lynchburg. You're getting in on some of the worst of the rain right now. And this is moving off towards the east, south, and east. So Lois, Liberty Hill, Beach Hill are going to be next up. I feel like I talk about you guys once a week. You have Lois right here and Beach Hill. The storms just love y'all down here in extreme southern Moore County. And we're dealing with another severe warm storm here. But the velocity data is horrible. It's another, it just doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good in my opinion. But Cowan, it's it's moving your direction, but it doesn't look good right now in my opinion. If anyone has any questions for me in the Facebook chat, please let me know. I'm just going to kind of roll through this quickly. Or just kind of roll this out of here, not quick. I wish it was quickly, but it probably won't be. But we're just going to kind of roll this out of here. And, I'll answer some of y'all's questions. And we'll be done for the evening. Unionville is good. I mean, there's some heavy rainfall. There's not even any cloud to ground lightning that I'm seeing. So elsewhere, just some spotty rain showers. The only strong-ish storm is going to be right here around Lynchburg in Moore County along State Route 50, and this is moving off towards the south and east. I can do another. Let's do another storm track here. Oh, Alan, I'm saying that it doesn't look impressive. I guess my definition of good and a lot of other people's definition of good is different, right? So I think that it's good. It doesn't look good if the storm is falling apart, but it is good when the storm is falling apart. So I guess the storm does look good because it is just kind of meandering its way through, not really doing much. So there's distant lightning in Manchester, not heat lightning, but yeah, some distant lightning going on there in Manchester. And probably seeing the lightning off this storm in Lynchburg, if I had to guess. You're welcome, Chris. Thank you for following along. Heavy rain starting in Estill. Thank you, Brian. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. I went through some of the data. Winchester Springs. That's on the east side of Winchester, right? Is that correct? I'm not really familiar with Winchester proper. Believe it or not, I'm very familiar with Cowan down to Sherwood and Anderson. But one spot that I'm not super familiar with is, Winchester proper. Yeah, it doesn't look impressive. But Winchester proper, you're going to get some rain and gusty winds over the next few moments, or next 30 minutes or so. And I'll drag this out. This is moving off towards the southeast at 40 miles per hour. Emily Deckard will be fine. Joetta, don't know where Rush County is. It's not in Tennessee. I know that. Heat lightning counter, Brian, you got it. It's grand total is 0. There you go. Hot lightning is hot. The hot lightning counter is through the roof, but the heat lightning counter is at 0. 0, 0. Belvedere 18 minutes, Winchester 24 minutes here on the worst of this storm, with the severe thunderstorm warning on it. Estill Springs just getting some, light to moderate rainfall right now. A few heavier pockets too, but the worst of this storm at this current moment is coming, between Beach Hill and Lois, right along State Route 50 and to the south. Liberty Hill will be getting into it, over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. Maybe a little bit sooner than that. But severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect here for another 32 minutes. But Manchester is good, just some light rain, light drizzle in a few areas, especially south of town. But just some light rain, nothing to be concerned about. Thank you, Keith, for staying up and doing that for me. Shantae, there could be, this, whatever you want to call it, these storms here might impact Tullahoma, but I really don't expect them to be strong. They're not even producing lightning, so they might not even be considered storms by the time they get down there to Tullahoma. But I think our severe weather threat is winding down for tonight. Sorry for muting the audio there for a second. Um, yeah, there's a severe thunderstorm warning for Franklin County. Expires in 30 minutes. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts will be the main threat here. Um, it's not very impressive on radar. Probably the worst of the storm is going to go Broadview, Belvedere, out State Route 16 south of Winchester. But it's not overly impressive in my opinion. It's producing a little bit of lightning, lots of heavy rainfall. But and maybe some of our friends in here, if you're in Liberty Hill or Lois or Herdlow, could let us know if there's any strong winds going on here. Um, but the Weather Service is continuing the severe thunderstorm warning here, and they've cut it back a little bit. So the Polygon is now out of Chestnut Ridge, so you're good to go there in Chestnut Ridge for the rest of the evening. But just trying to get this storm out of here. Just ride this storm out of here. A little rain in Tullahoma near the bowling alley. Thank you, Isaac. Yeah, I haven't seen any reports come in yet of any storm damage with this particular cell. I've been keeping an eye on it, on the chat rooms for anything, but I haven't seen anything come in yet. If anyone has any questions for me, now's your time to ask them, because I'll be able to see them here quickly and respond to you. I've got to make a post and do my radio recording for tomorrow morning, and then we get to do it all over again tomorrow with the slight risk. So a lot of lightning in Shelbyville. Yeah, it's I don't know. I see a few flashes off in the distance, but that's looking off towards the northwest. So, not sure where that is coming from, unless it's storm up here in Bellevue. It might be that little cell. 'Cause in the summertime, you can see. I've seen lightning from a storm over downtown Atlanta from Normandy before. So sometimes you can see lightning from really, really far away in the summertime, but just depends on how tall the storms are too. But I'm not seeing any lightning with this particular cell just north of Shelbyville. But of course, there is a lot of lightning ongoing with this storm in extreme southern Moore County. And I'm going to look at the velocity data. I still don't see anything too crazy here. Just some, you know, maybe some gusty winds. But there's definitely no tornadic rotation at this point. Yes, everything is fine in Mulberry. Or at least as far as I know. Haven't seen anything about Mulberry. Thank you, Shane, for the report there. Yeah, I've seen lightning from really far off before. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some people way down south, like Birmingham area, looking off towards the north. They can probably see the lightning from this storm in Moore County. So you can see lightning from a long ways away. The severe warning storm is still maintaining intensity and has recently increased in lightning, which I've noted as well. So they're going to keep the warning going for now. The good news is that rotation has remained broad, which I've mentioned as well. And there is no immediate concern for a tornado. So just a standard severe thunderstorm warning here. Winchester is under a severe thunderstorm warning. Some gusty winds and heavy rainfall, a little bit of lightning moving in from the west, moving in from Moore County. But it's not a super impressive storm in my opinion. So keeping an eye on stuff. Just not seeing anything impressive here. But we're gonna keep on watching it just to be on the safe side. We'll see if the wind or the Franklin County EMA. Here's a camera from Franklin County EMA. And the lightning is pretty much constant here. And this should be looking right off due west from Winchester at the EMA office. They're moving the camera around now. A lot of lightning, strobe. It's like a party. With all the lightning. And this is, the storm is directly over extreme southern Moore County right now. And you can see the rainfall streaking down too. That's just rainfall streaks. My computer really doesn't like the lightning. Probably gonna have to get off of it. I might have to get off of it. I don't know. But any any crazy severe weather in Deckard tonight. Lynchburg is good to go. If you're in downtown Lynchburg, you're good to go for the rest of the evening. The storm has basically exited Lynchburg proper, at least. It's still going through Hurdlow and Liberty Hill, Lois, but in extreme southern Moore County. But it's just heavy rainfall there too. And we'll look at the velocity data here. And again, I apologize for the lag. I'm doing this from my laptop at home, so there's we don't have the best internet here. Just working with what we got tonight. Chestnut Ridge is good to go for the night. Yep. Still watching. I'm being a little quiet because there's just, there's some heavy rainfall here. Broadview, Belvedere, Walnut Grove, Lexi Crossroads, Liberty Hill, Lois. Moving out of Lois now, but it's just not not a very impressive storm in my opinion. If there was something worth tracking, I'd be talking about it, but just a normal gusty summertime thunderstorm here. Tomorrow could be interesting. I'll go over that in detail in a post in, 20 to 30 minutes. When I get off here, I've got a few things I have to do, so, we'll just have to. We'll have to wait a little bit so I can get the update out because I want it to be good quality update. So, and I don't know how many people will see it with it being so late at night, but so someone asked about Tanyard Hill Road. I have to look that up. So that's going to be right near the western shore of Thames Ford Lake. It's going to be in this general area around Beach Hill, and it's moving out of that area. Moving on out. If anyone has any questions, ask them. Ask them now if you want to. We're just kind of waiting for this warning to move out of Moore County, and then we can get ready to go to bed. Yes, yes, yes. You're welcome, Kinley. Coverage for Franklin County will be a lot more in depth, starting very soon. So, right now it's just kind of, I mention y'all on stuff just because you're so close, but, it's going to be a lot more in depth here in the next few weeks. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited to start moving into Franklin County here soon, hopefully. I'm not personally moving to Franklin County, but adding coverage to Franklin County is what I'm getting at. And just just looking at this, I really need to look at Desi. There's going to be a lot of rain, especially if we get these complexes continue to move through over the next few days. We'll be dealing with a lot of rain. If I look at the National Blend of models and we'll go to 72-hour precip. It'll get us through Tuesday. Yeah, it has about another 1 to 2 inches, so. About another 1 to 2 inches. We could be dealing with, a few areas seeing more than 2. I think let's look at that. Let's look at how much rain we've gotten today. I think this will be, yeah, for this is starting this morning, and so it looks like the green values are basically anything from um, three quarters of an inch up to an inch, and then you start getting up in here with the yellow values. You start getting up into the 2 close to 3 inch values. In western Moore County, especially along 129 there, radar estimates show easily around 2 inches, maybe even 2.5 inches of rain, while a few folks in Bedford County have gotten pretty close to nothing, just a tenth of an inch at most. So that's what we deal with this time of year with the scattered pop-ups. I was expecting the rain to be a little bit more widespread than it was today, but that's just one of the punches that Mother Nature will throw at us every now and again. So anyway, we're just keeping an eye on the severe warning here. Nothing impressive. Nothing impressive. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for another 13 minutes here, but the worst of the storm has pretty much exited Moore County. So the extreme southern Moore County, right along the county line near Liberty Hill, and the Lincoln County line, just some heavy rainfall to get through, but the worst of the storm has exited Moore County proper. And looking at this is supposedly going to be the worst of the storm right here, and we're at a big goose egg 0 miles per hour here on the on the Franklin County EMA cam, and there's not quite as much lightning either. Tanyard Hill Road is you're in the clear there. Nothing else to worry about tonight. Keeps on going down when I we've had a gust of 1.7 miles an hour. 1.7 miles an hour, folks. This is an incredible storm here. If you can't sense the sarcasm, I get really sarcastic as the night goes on, but there's not any there's not anything worth talking about. Yes, very good, Keith. Thank you. You're going to make me. Yes, that's a good one, Keith. Thank you for that. So, oh my. Okay. So we do have a gust of 7 miles an hour now, so we're getting up there. We're just watching this camera here from Estill, or excuse me, the Franklin County Evade Winchester. But Deckard, nothing to worry about there. It's just a normal summertime thunderstorm. Deckard, a normal summertime thunderstorm here. Oh, now we're up to 9 miles an hour, folks. 9 miles an hour. Oh, now we're up to 10. Now we're up to 10. Look at this. Look at this. Shantae, are you expecting it to be worse tomorrow? It's probably about the same, honestly. Now, if that complex that I was showing earlier with the HRRR model does end up happening, probably going to be, pretty intense with the damaging wind threat anyway. But, these storms, if you're right under one of these storms, it could be, it could be rough. It could be really rough. But just depends on if you get under one or not, really. It looks a lot more violent on the camera than it actually is. It's still just seeing, you can see the wind gust down there at the bottom, but, still only getting 10 mile per hour winds for the wind gusts. Okay, now we're getting up to 11. We'll see if we can get up above 20 here. It looks a lot more violent. It's just a lot of heavy rain. And my goodness, yeah, the lightning is making it seem really rough, but it's just it's just a normal summertime storm. Nothing at or above severe limits at this point, from this camera anyway. Because we're up, we had a gust of 11.8. That's about as high as we've gotten here. Cowan, just some heavy rainfall and gusty winds, nothing severe. Looks like the National Weather Service in Huntsville is going to opt for a special weather statement for this particular storm instead of a severe warning going downstream. So it looks like that we will be in the clear here in just a moment, and we'll be good to go for the rest of the night. The special weather statement, that's the teal colors here. It's basically just saying like, hey, this storm is strong, but it's not strong enough to be severe. It's basically what that means. So, they're going to let the warning expire at the top of the hour. I don't see a reason to keep on streaming at this point. The storm is not severe. We looked at the Winchester camera. We had wind gust of 11 miles an hour. So, definitely not worth being live for at this point. But we do have some heavy rainfall. Do have some lightning. But, I don't think there's going to be any issues here for Franklin County. Yeah, I bet it did too, Alan. Anyway, yeah, the warning polygon just dropped off here, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a night, giving an all clear for Bedford, Coffee, and Moore County from the severe weather threat today. About to make a post on social media about the threat for severe weather tomorrow. Okay, so I'll have that out in hopefully 20 or 30 minutes. So thank you guys for tuning in to this severe weather coverage this evening from Shelbyville Weather. I hope you have a blessed rest of your Friday night and early Saturday morning. This is meteorologist Elijah Kirby signing off.